One is that our leaders don't understand the obvious. Why don't they accept the obvious? Why don't they apply common sense? One of the matters of common sense which I find enormously deficient from all of our leaders is they don't seem to accept the fact that the climate has been changed for millions of years without the impact of man. Now, under the current system where they're proposing the control of emissions, there have to be 5 conditions for that. We have to firstly assume that man is the cause of climate change at the moment. Global warming, as it used to be called, they've dropped that and it's now climate change. Secondly, we have to assume that controlling carbon emissions will control that. We thirdly have to assume that the significant emitters, in fact the principal nations, can all reach an agreement on a common emissions trading scheme. Mr. Rudd and Senator Wong seem to think that once they've got that, everything will be right. Well, they're wrong on that, because not only do you have to have an agreement, assuming all the other things are right, you've also got to have the nations actually enforce their agreement. And the fact is, and they should know this, that most countries don't observe their international agreements. Only a few countries do that. So you've got that problem. But there's a 5th problem, and this is the obvious. It must be obvious, as I said earlier, it must be obvious that other factors have affected the climate changes of the previous millions of years. Now, even if we get to this point where we have this very strong, rigid emissions trading system in place, we've cut back our emissions and we're not using oil and so on, what's going to stop all those other factors from affecting the climate? There's no guarantee that they won't still come into play. So the climate will probably still change because those other factors have been affecting climate for millions of years. Now, Mr. Rudd and Senator Wong don't even want to get to stage 3. They don't even want to get to an international agreement which is enforceable. They want us to go ahead on our own to impose an ETS in Australia, shoot ourselves in the foot, damage our economy without any guarantee it'll do any good because we're only responsible for 1% of emissions. Now they seem to think that because we do this, other countries will follow us. Surely after the recent experiences with China, Mr. Rudd knows that the Chinese don't take any notice of him. No other powers are going to take notice of them. What is it with them that they don't understand us? Why do they have this passion to impose an emissions trading scheme on us, which is going to send so many jobs away to Asia? Why do they want to do this? And the Australian people don't fully appreciate this, mainly because the media are playing their own game. Most of the mainline media are pushing the same theme, that global warming is the responsibility of man and that it can be controlled by an ETS. And all of the mainstream media and the ABC do not allow much information in relation to anything which challenges this. Now I often wonder why Mr. Rudd and Senator Wong are so passionate about this. And at the same time, I wondered the other day why Cardinal Pell and Senator Fielding, who are both of different versions of the Christian religion, why don't they have the same fervour? And I think the conclusion is this. Cardinal Pell and Senator Wong, Cardinal Pell and Senator Fielding, have a religion. They've already got a religion that they believe in. I think why our elites are so wedded to an ETS relates to something Chesterton once said. And Chesterton said, when a man stops believing in God, it's not that he believes in nothing, it's that he'll believe in anything. And these people, the chattering classes, the elites, are demonstrating this. They're prepared to believe in anything, even if the obvious goes against us.